morning, students. Today we will study chapter 3 of history, which is about the Sultans of Delhi. So let's start the chapter with the introduction of Delhi Sultanate. Dear students, in previous chapter we have studied about lack of political unity in India during 10th and 11th century. Due to that, India was unable to stop attack from the invaders. Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in AD 1192 and laid the foundation of Turkish rule in India. As he had no heir, so his generals declared themselves independent in different parts of his empire. One of his generals, Qutbuddin Aibak, assumed control of Muhammad Ghori's Indian possessions and laid the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate. So let's talk about the Delhi Sultanate. The period between AD 1206 to 1526 is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. This is because the rulers of this period were known as sultans and they ruled from their capital city Delhi. Dear students, Delhi became the capital of the vast areas of the subcontinent only under the Delhi Sultanate. The following 5 dynasties together formed the Delhi Sultanate, and these were the Slave dynasty, the Khilji dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, the Said dynasty, and last was the Lodi dynasty. So let's talk about Slave dynasty. This dynasty is called the Slave or Mamluk dynasty because its 3 army sultans themselves were slaves. Iltutmish and Balban were slaves of Qutbuddin Aibak, who himself was a trusted slave general of Muhammad Ghori. So this dynasty was founded by Qutbuddin Aibak, who was well known for his courage, fighting skills and organizational abilities. He devoted his entire attention in strengthening his position and kingdom. As he was a kind-hearted, just and generous ruler, so due to his generosity, he was called Lakh Baks or giver of lakhs. He gave large sums of money in charity. Dear students, he was a lover of architecture also. So he built 2 famous mosques, namely Quwatul Islam Mosque, which was constructed in Delhi, and Arai Din Ka Jhopda, it was constructed in Ajmer. He also started the construction of the Qutub Minar, but due to his sudden death, it was not completed by him. So now we will discuss about the second sultan of the slave dynasty, and he was Samsuddin Iltutmish. Qutbuddin Aibak was succeeded by his son-in-law Iltutmish, who is considered the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. Iltutmish introduced various reforms, like he suppressed first his rivals and secured his throne. By using his diplomatic skills, he saved himself and the kingdom from the Mongol invasion led by Genghis Khan. He organized the nobility into a select group of 40 slave ministers called Chalisa. He divided his empire into many small and big pieces of land called Iqtas, and the nobles who collected taxes from these Iqtas were called the Iqtadars. He also introduced silver coins that were called Tanka and copper coins that were called Jital. He also completed the construction of Qutub Minar, which was started by Qutbuddin Aibak. So next we will discuss about the Rajya. Before his death, Iltutmish nominated his daughter Razia as his successor. He felt she would prove a more competent ruler than his sons. She was the first and the last woman Muslim ruler of the medieval world. Dear student, Razia possessed all the qualities of a great ruler. She was a brave and intelligent woman. She dressed like a man and personally led her army in battle. But her brothers and the nobles did not like the idea of being ruled by a woman. The nobles began to plot against her, and ultimately she was killed in AD 1240. After Razia Sultan, a number of less important sultans came to the throne till 1266. So let's discuss about the most powerful ruler of the slave dynasty, and he was Ghiyasuddin Balban. He was known for his strong policies to strengthen his position as a king. He adopted a stern policy of blood and iron to consolidate his position. He reorganized the nobility and crushed the powerful Chalisa mercilessly. Dear students, Balban also established a network of spies to keep an eye on each province. He believed in the divine status of the sultans and claimed to be the representative of God on the earth. He even tried to emphasize these by introducing the practice of Sijda and Pabos at his court. And dear student, he never smiled in the court, and in his court no one was allowed to laugh or to joke. So this was all about the slave dynasty. Thank you.